The Ginyu Force helped stop the androids, with one of the Ginyu Force members kind of becoming an android in a way. So, where does their employment with the Galactic Patrol take them next? We'll cover all that and more in this third part of What If the Ginyu Force Turned Good. We fast forward a couple years to when the Buaga Saga begins. Of course, Gohan still becomes the Great Saiyan here, and all that stuff kind of starts like normal. The biggest difference here is Goku is alive. Also, a quick side note, as the Saiyan, Gohan might have stolen some poses from Ginyu. Otherwise, the Ginyu Force isn't really doing anything on Earth right now. They do have other missions, and while they are assigned to Earth, there's nothing that they really need to take care of there, thankfully. So let's cover what happens during the Buaga Saga first. The Ginyu Force isn't going to be here in the first place because, yes, while the tournament happens, it's not like they're really going to be invited to that. There's no reason to invite them. Goku would probably want to see them again and possibly fight with them to see how strong they're getting, but Bulma tells him that they're busy with an actual job, something that Goku wouldn't know about. Hey, that's kind of mean, he's a farmer. Anyways, the tournament begins, starts like normal, and actually everything goes pretty much the same as it did. Of course, the only difference being that Goku's alive here, but that won't change anything right off the bat. Everything continues like the original story, up until the point when Gohan's fighting Dabra. The change here is that Gohan's able to actually beat him. I'd say this Gohan is marginally stronger than normal. I wouldn't say that he's training incredibly consistently, but with Goku being around, he's definitely going to be training more than normal. Thus, enough for him to at least grow a little bit stronger, and also defeat Dabra in the process. In turn, this would also mean that Spopovich and Yamu got more energy from him, but it's still not going to be enough to revive Buu on its own. Vegeta, on the other hand, won't be turning Majin either, thanks to Goku being alive. He won't willingly give in to Babidi, and Babidi can't take over his mind otherwise. So Babidi would probably get pretty close, getting about 70% of what he needs, but it's not 100%. With this, he could probably still find a way to revive Buu, but he's not going to be at his full strength. Although, before he could even do anything with that, he's stopped. The Buaga Saga is completely avoided, and Buu is never unleashed. The Dragon Balls are used to revive Kibito later on, and Shin takes the sealed Buu back to the Sacred World of Kai, thanking everyone for their help as they get back to the tournament. Since the Cell games actually happened here, Mr. Satan is still the world champion, and he's considered the one who defeated Cell, so he's regarded as a hero and everything. And everyone gets back to the tournament ready to fight, but it already continued without them. They were gone a little bit too long, and Mr. Satan ended up winning by paying off some of the contestants. I guess another change is that Android 18 probably wasn't here in the tournament. Like, there's a chance her and Krillin could have met up in the time skip, but given how different the things went in the Android Saga, they barely had any sort of contact there, so I'm going to say that's just not a thing in general. And the final fight would probably be Mr. Satan versus Mighty Mask, if anything. So, Mr. Satan wins the tournament, although Goten and Trunks get the money from it. By the way, even if Ginyu were here on Earth, I feel like Babidi still wouldn't even be able to possess him either, due to his crazy loyalty. The same goes for his teammates who are loyal to him. Sure, they would probably have some sort of evil in their heart that Babidi can exploit, but at this point it wouldn't be enough for him to fully exploit it without them willingly giving in, which they wouldn't do here. Okay, but what is happening with the Ginyu Force though? It's been about 6 years since the Cell Saga happened, because the Cell games happened like a year later than normal. But what are they up to? Well, the Ginyu Force has 2 members now, Jaco and Mayris. Before they were just kind of colleagues, but now, seeing how great the performance of this special unit is, and the fact that they're all covering the same area, the Galactic King merged all of them together into the same team. Officially, they're called the Ginyu Force, treated as an elite unit for the Galactic Patrol, and they get more responsibilities too. They're sent even farther out into the universe, covering all 4 galaxies. Of course, the North with Earth specifically is their specialty, but they're going to be traveling to all others here. Since they are the strongest unit, they're sent on the toughest missions. Ginyu still leads the team, and seemingly he's the 2nd strongest patrolman overall. Of course, Mayris is hiding all of his power, but he looks like he's 3rd place. The strongest right now is actually Birder. He's the fastest and the strongest, all thanks to Cell's body. He's been growing a lot stronger in this, and he also has the abilities of all his allies thanks to this body, not to mention the abilities of all the fighters on Earth that were part of Cell, and Frieza and King Cold. He does miss his old body though. At one point the Ginyus get a new mission, stopping 2 people that were formerly part of the Frieza Force actually, Abo and Kato. They're able to defeat these 2 easily and capture them, and they actually had someone else joining in their fight. Much to their surprise, there's another Saiyan out there. His name's Tarbal, and weirdly enough, he's actually Vegeta's brother. This is a pretty crazy revelation to them, especially because they know Vegeta, and Tarbal's glad to hear that his brother's alive and well. And the Ginyu Force is pretty impressed with this Saiyan's strength. You know, they wonder if this guy can make a good member in the Galactic Patrol. Of course, they can't just go around recruiting people, but even though he's weak, Tarbal is still a Saiyan, and he probably would like fighting a bit. It was kind of a shock to see the Ginyu Force turn good in the first place for him, but he is actually interested in getting stronger. He wishes he could have handled that threat on his own, but there's no point staying focused on that. At some point, he actually joins the patrol himself, and after a few years pass, he works his way up pretty quick. The Ginyus actually take him as part of the team because they know a Saiyan could be a really valuable member. So now the Ginyu Force has 8 members. They even did try to recruit Banyu again, but she probably wouldn't join because she doesn't like the posing there. Although 8 members is enough, and it's hard enough to pose as is with 8 people. Thankfully, the 3 new members they have, they're fine with the posing. Tarbal found it kind of weird at first, but he goes along with it. Mayris thought it was pretty weird at first, but he's grown accustomed to it. The mortals seem to like it, so he's grown to like it. And Jaka, of course, is going to be fine with it. Although with Tarble as part of the Ginyu Force, at some point they do visit Earth because he wants to see his brother again. He has this easy contact, so he might as well do this. The first person they meet is Bulma because she's the one who's friends with Jaco, and this is where Tarble learns that this is actually Vegeta's wife. So not only is his brother here on Earth, but he has a sister-in-law and nephew now. Bulma formally invites the entire Ginyu Force to her birthday party. So while Tarble sees Vegeta briefly here, it's going to be one big celebration, not just for Bulma's birthday, but also Tarble reuniting with his brother. So that's something to look forward to. They hear what's happened since they've last been on Earth. There was only one big threat, but they were able to stop it. The Ginyus are pretty busy right now, but they're definitely going to make time for this birthday party. So fast forward a little bit more, and we arrive to Bulma's birthday party, the time when Battle of Gods is supposed to happen. Goku is off planet, training with King Kai, and this is when he first meets Beerus, which goes pretty much like normal. Back on Earth, since Mayris is actually at the party already, he can already tell what's about to happen. He knows that Beerus has awoken, but he says nothing right now, of course. He's not going to give away his cover just for that. Soon enough, Beerus and Whis show up on Earth, and Whis immediately notices Mayris there, just silently nodding at his brother. Mayris is a bit concerned as to what's about to go down, but he's relieved once he hears the reason Beerus is truly here. He's looking for a strong rival, and Earth actually has those strong rivals here. Of course, he's looking specifically for a Super Saiyan God, but there's a bunch of strong people here that he could fight, so maybe that'll be good. Plus, there's a lot of good food to please him too. Beerus has a great time here. He's interested in the food here, and without Majin Buu to annoy him, it makes things go a lot smoother. Up until he fights the Ginyu Force. Beerus fights the entire Ginyu Force alone just to test their strength. Their teamwork is amazing. Ginyu and Berta are pretty strong, and the rest of the team's even pretty powerful too. Beerus actually really enjoys this. Now, they're not the rivals that he was looking for, although Berta's interesting because he's technically part Saiyan. But otherwise, he's enjoying this. Up until when Goldo shows his abilities. He manipulates time at one point in the battle, and this immediately ticks Beerus off. Why is a mortal doing that? That's against galactic law. That's a huge violation there. Oh yeah, Mayris and Jaco completely forgot about that. They kinda just let it slide because, yes, while it is against galactic law, Goldo was using it for good as part of the Galactic Patrol, so the Galactic King looked over it. But Beerus is really mad about it. He doesn't even care about the galactic law part. He cares that he's messing with time. That's a really dangerous thing to do, and especially in a fight like this. He's getting agitated, and he even threatens to destroy Goldo for this, and that makes Ginyu really worried. He gets ready to swap bodies with Beerus just in case. Even if this guy is a god of destruction, he'll protect his men at any cost. And just as he's about to swap with Beerus, Goku then teleports in, thankfully defusing the entire thing. Beerus wasn't actually going to destroy Goldo. He just had to strike some fear into him so he didn't mess with time as much. And Goldo nearly had a heart attack there. Well, it's a good thing Ginyu didn't swap with Beerus because that could have caused a lot of other issues. Although, it would have made him the god of destruction, so he wonders how things would have went like that. Anyways, Goku suggests that they should ask Shenron about the ritual, so they summon him and figure out how to make a Super Saiyan God. Thankfully, they actually have enough people here. Sure, Videl would have always been an option just in case they needed her, but with Berta being here, they actually don't because in Cell's body, he's part Saiyan now, so they try it out with him first. Mainly because he's partially a Super Saiyan, so they assume that's going to work better, but they even have Tarble too. But with Berta, it ends up actually working. With Goku, Gohan, Goten, Vegeta, Trunks, and Berta as part of the ritual, they're able to turn Goku into a Super Saiyan God. Nothing crazy different happens with that fight, and the arc ends pretty much like normal. Beerus definitely will be back here though. Not long after this, Vegeta ends up going to Beerus' planet, and then Goku follows suit. As for the Ginyu Force, it's business as usual with them. Until they get a really strange piece of news. The Frieza Force is back. That makes no sense. Frieza's been dead for so long. Well, it's actually under a new name right now. Temporarily, it was called the Zarbon Force. Oh, so that's what happened. Zarbon took control of the army, and Dodoria was his right-hand man. They were able to rebuild some of the ranks, but their main goal was to get the Dragon Balls for themselves. And they were able to go to Earth and get them, reviving Frieza in the process. The Ginyu Force goes to Earth just in case, and they find out that no one's actually here at the moment. Gohan and Piccolo actually did see that Shenron was summoned, but they didn't know who did it. As far as they know, the Frieza Force is completely gone right now. But Ginyu lets them in on the info, and they realize they might be in trouble. But Ginyu says they're going to stop this before it becomes a problem. Gohan and Piccolo stay back on Earth just in case they need to protect it, but in the meantime, the Ginyu Force is going to proactively go against Frieza's army. It takes about 2 months for them to find where Frieza is. With the plan in mind, they infiltrate, fighting a bunch of random Frieza soldiers at first, and then they make it to Frieza himself. With how strong they are at this point, they're not too worried about Frieza. Surely he hasn't grown that strong in only 2 months, and he actually has grown pretty strong. Of course, he doesn't have the full amount of training that he had up until when Resurrection F truly happened, but 2 months is still enough to make a noticeable change for his strength. Frieza's really confused why the Ginyu Force is here because first, he thought they were just returning to him, but then he sees that there's 2 Galactic Patrolmen with him, and also what appears to be another Saiyan who looks kinda like Vegeta, also sporting the Galactic Patrol emblem. But then he sees what's happened here. They've betrayed him, haven't they? They left the Frieza Force and joined the patrol? He would have never expected Ginyu to betray him. And Ginyu says he didn't do this out of spite or anything, it's just the way things went. and it just so happens he likes being a part of the patrol now. But as things are at the moment, they can't work for Frieza anymore anyways. And Frieza says none of that matters to him. They're traitors, so at the end of the day, he's got to kill them. He immediately powers up into his final form. Burter's the first one to fight him, and Frieza's really confused at first because he doesn't know who this guy is. Then he learns that it's Burter in some other guy's body. The strangest part is, now that he could sense ki, he feels Burter's energy, and it's sort of similar to his own energy in a way, as well as a bunch of other energies in there. Now, even though Burter is in Cell's body and he's grown pretty strong with it, it's not like he has some crazy potential, especially because in a body that's not his own, he's not going to access that full potential regardless, even with how long he's been in there. But it's actually enough for him to be stronger than Frieza at the moment, in his final form that is. But Frieza has one more power-up. He actually only just unlocked this about a week ago, and it's not really efficient, but he's got to go into it regardless. Frieza transforms into his golden form, and with one attack, he completely takes Burter out of the fight, launching a blast that destroys most of his body. Burter's actually fine, he's able to regenerate from this. But Ginyu's the next one to step up, and Frieza laughs thinking that Ginyu stands no chance. Even though he only has a limited time in this form, Ginyu's not going to be able to keep up with him. And this will be even better too. He wants to personally execute Ginyu himself. The fight begins, and immediately, Ginyu sees he's completely outmatched. But surprisingly, 2 other people teleport in during the battle. Having sensed this and knowing that Frieza's back, Goku and Vegeta teleported in just in case the Ginyu Force needed help. And when Vegeta sees Frieza, he immediately goes up to him ready to attack. But right as he's about to hit Frieza, Frieza panics and tells him to wait. Don't attack just yet. Vegeta finds this weird because why is Frieza begging for mercy? Not that he doesn't want to hear that, but still. He then looks over at Ginyu, and Ginyu looks really confused. Like he's in a daze of sorts. He's looking around, almost like he's not sure why he's there. And then Frieza tells Vegeta that he's actually Ginyu. Right as they teleported here, Ginyu swapped bodies with Frieza. And all the other Ginyu Force members confirm this too. They just saw this. Oh, well, it looks like Goku and Vegeta weren't needed then, because in that case, they've won here. Ginyu didn't really want to resort to this, but he really had no other choice. And now that Frieza's in Ginyu's body, there's no way he's going to win. So he gets ready to just destroy the planet that they're on. But he's not able to do so. Vegeta quickly transforms into Super Saiyan God, completely outspeeding Frieza and launching a single attack at him to destroy him fully. Ginyu watches on a little bit saddened. Of course, that's not his original body, but he's grown so accustomed to that, so it's kind of like watching an old friend leave. Many times he's thought about swapping to another body, but he liked that one that he was in. It grew pretty quickly, and he was so used to it at this point. But just like Burter lost his original body, now Ginyu's lost his. Although, having Frieza's body isn't too bad. He's strong, he has a lot of potential, and he can make this work. So maybe this will be a good thing. And it seems like their work's done here. What they don't know is that Zarbon, Dodoria, and Kui actually escaped again. Really mad because they thought reviving Frieza would surely work, but it looks like they're going to have to resort to another plan. And it looks like they're back to the Zarbon Force. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. What do you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.